Welcome back to Tune to Life. It's good to know that you're listening and tuning in each time. Thank you very much for those of you who are supporting us and continue to support us. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit political again. We've been doing that for a little while, talking about some political things. But it's important because we're just living these crazy times. I've been saying so many times. It's a bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah, lots of changes.
Yeah. And I'm not really, although I'll contradict myself, I'm not really one to get into so much political issues and whatever because, you know, it is what it is. All right. And by that, that's loaded. It's a loaded statement. But Labour Party, reform, yeah, at it, head to head.
Yeah.
And if you look at what's going on, it's if you can stand out of your position,
Yeah.
whether you're Labour voter, whether you're, a conservative voter, reform voter, whatever it is, just stand back out of your position, look at what's going on. Yeah, this is it's a bit bonkers. So we want to look at today. We want to look at how are reform doing now with Labour Party at their heel. How is it turning out for them? How are they going now that Labour Party are actually, so those who are not viewing from the UK, we've got a situation now where it used to be almost a two-party system.
It definitely used to be.
Labour and Conservative. And there were rivals. One would come in, one would go out, and Conservative just finished a sort of 14-year tenure in Downing Street. So now Labour have got in, and people that voted for them were hoping for some real change.
That's right, yeah.
And it really hasn't happened.
No, it hasn't.
What we've seen is lots of U-turns, lots of broken promises. Yeah. So I'm not even using political terms now. What I really want to say is lots of lies. But then again, lots of broken promises. And they're all blaming it on we didn't know how bad it was.
Awesome, yeah.
But I don't know. It's sort of, I don't know, you could use lots of analogies to describe that one. But being a realist, I'm not so convinced that they didn't know. Right? You get a good idea because, analysts, political pundits, rest of them knew how bad it was. How can they not know? Yeah, how can they not have a Scooby-Doo about what's happening? So, things are getting worse.
Yep.
And every step he seems to be making seems to be catastrophic and not going in their favor. Whereas even reform, with their rhetoric, it's like, wow, they're getting so much traction.
They are.
So much traction, so much influence that even though they are right-wing populists, and people need to understand what that is, but people don't care. They're just, because reform are humming a tune that people like.
That's right.
Right? Even though that tune is loaded with lots of, hate sentiment, but people like it because people want someone to blame.
Definitely do.
When there's economic catastrophe and chaos and so on, people want someone to blame for that.
Good. Yeah.
They want someone to blame. And they won't really blame the political parties as such.
That's right.
They blame people.
That's right.
And everybody looks different.
That's right.
And you see this happening time and time again throughout history.
Throughout history. Definitely. Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah, definitely.
And people literally don't care. And I think that one of the things, without getting too political in this, and it's very much the point we want to hit, is why Brexit happened. Brexit to me was like a guy sitting down and being told he shouldn't be eating any more fried bread, a full English breakfast, and he's stuff, and he likes it anyway. Who's anybody to tell him? not to eat it. So then he gets a heart attack and was told that that's not really good for him. But then still, even after heart attack, still continue to eat it. Yeah. So it's a bit like that because Brexit was a situation where people were upset with the way in which the government and local authorities were operating.
Yeah.
Right. We covered this before.
That's what's
And when people felt displaced, disenfranchised, and felt that their life wasn't getting any better,
That's right. Yeah.
they wanted someone to blame.
Yeah.
So remember, at that time, they blamed because the huge migrant population at the time influx was coming from Europe.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
They blamed, the Europeans.
That's right. Yeah.
People like from wherever,
Yeah.
from Eastern Europe, Central
yeah.
Europe, whatever. They blamed them mainly. I mean, black people were already here, so we already got a part. We already had a portion of that blame, but they blamed those people.
Yeah.
Think about this. They blamed those people. That's who they really blamed. Didn't want to see. They weren't really talking about the boats at the time.
No.
People coming in.
No.
Not really. The main subject was I can't recognise my town because it's got all people different language there. That was a big thing. So Brexit was to stop them because remember the argument was to stop Romanians and Bulgarians and all these people coming in, flooding into Britain with the doors open.
That's right.
Yeah. So they voted against it. But in that point, talking about not even cutting your spite face, chopping off half your face to spite the other half side of your face. That's what happened with Brexit. So that didn't go down too well, irrespective of people saying, well, it hasn't been fully implemented yet and we can't see the benefits of it because of what's been happening. And I think that's rubbish. That's stupid. Anyway, it is what it is at the minute. Not great, not good.
Yeah.
So the country's taken a downward turn even further.
That's right.
Right? Even further. So then we do have people coming in the boats and whatever it is. That's all happening. And so now they're the people to blame.
Yes, yeah.
Because the Europeans are here and a lot of them have left. So you think, right, who else can we blame? Yeah, we'll blame them. And we blame them for taking their jobs, filling up this, doing that, whatever it is, and it's given a new lease of life.
Yeah, it has been.
To what was the Brexit Party, which is now the Reform Party. Yeah. A new lease of life to say, well, yes, anti-woke, anti-this, that's what's going downhill, whatever. And if you think of the way society is, like a pyramid, people at the very, very top.
Yeah.
Just live their lives, do what they do, and are mobile and can go from one place to another without too much worries. Labour has been think, well, okay, we need more money to do this, we need money to do that, things aren't working out, what do we do? Let's make it more difficult and tax people in different ways. So Richard said, oh no, I'm off. And they've gone.
Yeah.
Let's get to, non-DOMs. Non-DOMs are gone.
Yeah.
Where's that tax money? Where's that tax money that they were going to have? Because it was obvious. Rich people are mobile. Let's get up and go.
That's right, yeah.
And there are other people sitting there thinking, oh, no, they should pay their fair share. They should pay. All right, yes, in a idealistic situation, yes, true, and all that sort of stuff, I agree. But being realistic, being an ordinary guy of the world, you know that if somebody as a company or has 30, 40, 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, and you're going to increase tax quite significantly, you're going to think, so, well, I've got 14 homes of, different countries. I don't need to be here.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's move. And when they move, they stop spending.
That's right.
So that tax is gone. It's gone. Thousands of them. So just building a preamble, so I'm not going off point, but just to give an idea that everything Labour's trying to do hasn't really worked at all. So they're left to the situation. Because everything's not working, we're trying to. Local authorities, councils, county councils are under it. They're under pressure. No money.
That's right.
No money whatsoever. Right? So they're cash strapped, thinking about what services we're going to cut. Labour's hinting at austerity, but it's like, if you're like peeling something back to the bone, they've hit the bone, like cling, 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 they've hit the bone. There's nothing to pare back.
Yeah.
So now it's like, well, what essential services can we cut? Think about it. What essential services can we cut? That's where they're at.
Mm.
So so things aren't really going particularly well. So now they have to turn the barge around and focus on immigration because they know that if things carry on like this and it's getting worse and worse and worse, this could trigger an early election. Not within a year or 2 years, but maybe, and then we will have 4 years, aren't we?
Yeah.
So it could trigger it sort of in the third year. It could do if things get really, really bad, which they're bad as they are. Now, if that happens, because we all know right now, if there was a election now, Reform would win. Landslide. Right? So not that I'm advocating them, I'm just saying how things are at the moment. And
So Labour's got some patchwork to do. Then you're saying, yeah?
Patchwork. Listen, what's coming out right now and some of the situations coming out there is not helping him. And you see, politicians, the whole thing saying that they want to tidy up, the image of politics is it's dirty inside and out. Yeah. To me, what politics seems to be like at the moment. And I know there are going to be people saying, yeah, there's some good people in there. And there probably are. There probably are some great people, really dedicated, honest politicians, whatever it is. However, to me, politics is like this. Politics is like somebody wearing dirty clothes, not having had a bath for months on end, and trying to spray expensive cologne to mask the smell. Yeah, that's what politics is like. That's what I think. So when you're looking at it, you're thinking, that's not right. Yeah? But you're smelling something that is messing with your senses because what you see and what you smell is like what you see and what you hear, right? What you see is not good. What you hear is messing around with what you're seeing. So that's the point I'm trying to make.
Playing the senses.
It's playing the senses. People know this is not good. But they're saying things like, oh, yeah, we're doing this and there's growth, economic growth by 0.11%. No one can't see growth. All this is rubbish. All this part saying we've got growth here, we've got growth. As far as I'm concerned, there is no growth. If you go into West End where the hubbub in the evening, whatever, and it's empty, it's quiet. It's quiet. The money isn't there as it was before. What's happening? Middle classes are struggling. Because whereas they would have sent their child to maybe private school, now the VAT is being hit on that.
That's right, yeah.
So they have to pay that or pause down. They're struggling to do that. Mortgages have gone up. They're struggling there. So the reality is people who earn a decent amount of money want to have a certain standard of living.
That's right,
and that standard of living is dropping. And working class people are seeing their standard of living drop. And then poor, it's the same day. Same thing. No improvement. So everybody's been affected. The only people that aren't affected are rich who are mobile.
Yeah.
If you have a decent amount of income, then you can be mobile and it doesn't affect you in the same way. So there is a big problem, I think, in politics right now. And I just, before we get on to our point, so like our little preamble, just to make this, the main thing is, just hitting about immigration.
Yeah.
Because I know you got some stats on that. Immigration is the centre ground now for both Labour and Reform to battle it out. And Reform and Labour want to pretend to be Reform 1.0. Yeah, I mean that's stupid, but that's the way they're going. And everybody can see that it's stupid because Labour's supposed to be focusing on, right? Labour's supposed to be focusing on public services, climate action, workers' rights, and all that sort of stuff, which to some extent they have done a little bit. Yeah. But the biggest contention is climate action. Yes, we need to do this, do that, but at the same time, their action towards looking at climate has damaged economy even further. So it needs to be tempered with some balance
Yeah.
and progressive and careful movement towards looking at climate action and change, not just running in there and hitting it, which is what they've done, and then it's not worked.
The decision making is just off.
Completely off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And moderate economic reform, that's what it's supposed to be doing. But that's not working. But reform's position is number one, immigration. All right. And a lot of people are concerned about immigration. And then anti-net zero policies. So it's completely the other way around. It's like, well, sod the anti-climate, the climate change thing, sod that, let's forget about it, let's do this. So a lot of people who may not understand the current situation will jump in and say, yeah,
I'm on that.
because if someone says you can have more money in pockets and better more jobs, they'll always run for it.
That's right.
Yeah, and then the anti-woke rhetoric. Now, the anti-woke, you see, the term woke is a whole. We know what that is when it comes to it. See, woke comes from the idea about being conscious, being aware
it's crazy,
of what's happening around you,
hijacked,
and that's been hijacked to mean something completely different.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
Hijacked to mean something completely different.
Yeah.
So, the problem is now the anti-woke situation is about equal opportunities and fairness.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people who are in these anti-woke things will look at equal opportunities as a slight on them. Yeah, they look at a slight on them, even though the stats point at Black and ethnic minorities really struggling in work, all the areas, education, work,
housing,
justice system, health, everything. We are at the bottom of the pile, and it's going against us. And the idea of equal opportunity is supposed to help level that up, and it hasn't really done that. It's improved it to some degree, but not leveled down it. Now, if reform get in, that's going to go back 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years. And that's not going to be good. Yeah, that's not going to be good. Now, the argument is, again, from reform and immigration, is that they want to get rid of all the people coming in to work in this country. And history will show people that this country was built
on the back of
immigrants. Immigrants have contributed hugely
in the backbone to this country.
To develop this country. Standard. Right. You think if you go back, obviously through slavery, one thing, 100%. That's where a great deal of its wealth has come from. Right. Going back to people coming from Europe. Polish community being here, contributed here. Irish contributed here big time, and and loads of people, loads from Europe, tons from Europe and other parts of the world, whether the Philippines or this or that, wherever, all different communities, people from Italy, people from everywhere, all over the globe have come here and helped to develop this country. And now they're saying, well, look, we don't need anybody, we can do it all ourselves. Well, you didn't do it all yourselves 80, 90, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Let's see what happens now. So if you get rid of all immigrants and say, well, look, get rid of all the, and install anti-woke rhetoric, and then make it that you can only get to the top if you're white and British English. Okay, let's see how that's going to go. Let's see how that's going to work out. Let's see how that's going to work out. Very interesting. Because remember, England or Britain, Great Britain, is an island. It's an island. And if you seek to isolate yourself from the world, then that's a problem. And now I don't want to get too much on that, but you see, that's the idea from reform. Now, Labour's jumping on it and saying, we don't want to be a country of Was it?
Strangers.
Strangers.
Oh,
mean-
seriously.
Who wrote that speech, or did he do that himself while he was, watching something on
It's
TV, or
madness.
what happened?
Seriously.
What happened? Who wrote that? And what was the intention behind that?
I know. It's just
Because talking about wanting to alienate yourself,
I know.
talking about wanting to alienate yourself.
I know.
So now he said that. And now at the same time, changing the immigration status,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So I've got that somewhere here. I've got that somewhere here. Sorry, I'm gonna be clear with it.
so Vivek Kupo's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is just silly, absolutely silly. I've got some of the bits about the recent
Of the
change.
changes
To
to visas.
yeah. So
Okay.
what they've done, Labour's approach is, because I know about it, I just want to be clear and
Yeah,
accurate.
Yeah.
He's imposed stricter immigration rules, including graduate level requirements for skilled worker visas.
Mm.
So graduate levels, you have to have a degree to come here, right? For skilled worker visas, and a 50,000 reduction in lower skilled visas. Yeah. So 50,000 less. So that's where he's going to reduce net migration. Now, you don't need to be hugely clever to understand what that is. He's not doing anything about the boats. Or he can't. I'm going to come on to that in a minute. He can't do anything about the boats. So what he's done is picked on the soft belly of migration. The soft belly is people who come here legitimately, legally through the channels. That's all right. So that's going to affect care workers, people do those stuff. There's already apparently I heard there's 160,000 vacancies in the care workers.
Yeah.
That has gone down now to 120,000 vacancies.
Yeah.
So they've filled 40,000.
Yeah.
So now it's going to double.
Of course
It's probably about 200,000.
Definitely.
And then what will that mean? The kickback on that will be people with disability. See, this is what I'm saying. It's stupid policies. People with disabilities, people elderly, all the people that rely on care workers coming in homes and this and that, in hospices. Also, they're going to be short. There's no one there, and they believe that they're going to get the young, who
this is ludicrous.
have gone to college, maybe got a degree to work in these sectors, environments. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
But it's not been happening. It's not been happening, full stop.
It's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen before, and certainly with this new generation now, they're not as kids would have been 30 years ago.
You know what? I listened to someone on the radio, and he was talking about, and it was I gather a white guy, and he was talking about that he had so he has an elderly father, has some African carers take care of his father, and he was saying, like, he goes, look, they were amazing, in terms of the duty, because his father didn't want for anything. And what he was saying, he said, but because the key that he kind of understood here, he said, look, he goes, people coming from African nations, there's a kind of a different cultural kind of respect about their elders that they have.
Yeah.
And that's translated into the care that he got for his father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so and he was saying that, look, our younger generation over here, there's a disconnect in terms of the elderly population.
Yeah, there is a disconnect. And I think there's reasons behind that disconnect between young and, because if you think about it, even years ago, I think probably 50, 60 years ago, there was a better relationship between older people and younger people. Yeah, there was a communication, a respect, and so on, because there's more connection. And I think in more recent times, in the last 20, 30 years, maybe a little more, that connection's gone. And I don't know, it might sound far-fetched, it might sound a little stupid what I'm going to say, it may well be. But I think that a large part of it is because people have been pushed, steered, educated to become more selfish,
Yeah.
right? Much more selfish. And the young
Yeah.
to become much more selfish.
Mm.
And also, there's a situation where every time, I think it's complex because there are much more broken relationships here
Oh yeah.
than anything else, and broken families.
Definitely.
Yeah, in the West, let's
Mm.
say this here, much more broken families. I think that plays
So
into it
that
as well.
definitely, yeah, it does.
And then on top of that, there is a concern for men. I think men generally with younger children are a little bit more, I think, reserved when it comes to connecting with the very young, because they're not wanted to be looked upon as some sort of paedophile or something.
Okay.
It's because they did this little test once, I think, an experiment, and they put a young person in a mall, and they wanted to see and to stand on their own,
Okay.
and there was cameras there and so on, hidden cameras, and they wanted to see how long it would take
Oh wow.
for somebody
Oh wow.
to approach the young person to see.
If you look,
Yeah, I don't know, about maybe 4, 5,
yeah,
6 or something like that.
yeah.
Just standing there. They were just standing
It's
there.
fun actually. It's interesting to say that.
And nobody in 2 hours,
Are you for real?
approached this young person.
Oh my god. How old are they?
About 6, 7, something like that. No, they were told to stand there. And obviously the people who were doing this were nearby and were filming, discreetly. And nobody, and then guys walked up and looked and turned their head away, didn't even
Wow.
approach. And I think that's a concern of can you imagine if there's a young child there, men are very frightened of approaching a young child
Actually,
because they're frightened of being looked upon as some sort of pedophile. I know they're not, but they just feel fearful that someone will think they're going to abduct the child because there's this
as you know, you're
unconscious concern.
It's funny actually you say that. I think I said to you just quickly. I remember I said to you that there was a child that was walking in the road one time, and I was like, oh my gosh, and there was nobody around. But and I'm talking about a 2-year-old child walking in the road, and I was like, but I was so mindful of the fact that I wanted obviously to protect the child, but at the same time wary of the fact that, oh my gosh,
what does it look like?
What does it look like? I know, it's crazy.
And that's I think the part of the unconscious disconnect that men will have, and also a multitude of different things. I don't think it's just that. I think it's a whole load of things that play into why there's this massive disconnect. Completely. So, not going off the topic too much, but I think there's all these things play into it. So the young won't respond, I think, to what some of the political arguments will be in the future. They will not be jumping up and running off into the fields to pick strawberries. They won't be running off to say, right, yeah, I'll be doing it, because there's been a push, sort of in education and everything, to go get what you want to be. You can be an astronaut, you can be this, you can be that. So why would the aspiration be so high and push so high and then be going there, you see?
And I think another
to basically white bums, peanut poo, peanut wee, and heavy lifting, hard graft with another physical person you have no relationship with.
Yeah, no.
It's not gonna happen.
No.
Because they wouldn't want to do it for their own.
That's right, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. And actually another factor that I was thinking, actually enough, I think also the other thing here, I think for young people you find is that they don't want to, they have these kind of aspirations. That's what my point I was going to say now. They have these aspirations in terms of what they want to achieve. But I kind of think, what's the point I was going to make now? The point's actually gone now. It's just mad. Sorry, it's gone.
Come back to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the situation is, so I think that the policies that they've got just isn't going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, there's argument where they can force them. Let's see how that works.
Yeah.
Let's see how that's going to go down if you feel you can force. Because what I think some politicians don't understand, they still seem to think it's 1970, 1980,
Yeah,
1990.
yeah,
Because they're of an age
yes, yeah,
where they saw how things were and they go back to time Margaret Thatcher. Those days are
yeah.
gone.
No, yeah,
And
yeah.
they just live
Live
in the
in the past.
past.
No. You
They live
live
in
in
the
the past.
past, thinking that they can make everything as it was.
Yeah.
And people who are working class,
Mm.
who who have who are struggling, fighting,
Mm-mm.
they look back
Logically,
nostalgically
yes, yeah,
at
you're
a
right.
time
Yeah.
probably in the 80s or
Mm.
60s, 70s, whenever. And those days are gone,
Yeah, no.
gone, and will never
Never.
return. So you have to work with what you've got,
Yeah.
make the best of what you have here now, and integrate things better,
Yeah.
do things better in a better way, in a joined up way. And but they'll never do it
Mm.
because there's always a degree of arrogance, degree of hate,
Mm.
maliciousness, envy, jealousy,
Yeah.
desire. All these things
Mm.
come into play, and it will never be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and political parties will always play into
Into that
those to steer people
in a particular
or
yeah.
direction
Yeah.
so they can get the votes.
Of course,
So it will never
Never
really
would.
change.
Yeah.
But the thing is changing is that the world is getting smaller.
Mm.
Companies, organizations.
Mm.
And this is quite interesting, right? This is very interesting. I want to bring this point, just jump to just memory. Klaus Schwab, we talked about this before, wrote a book
Yeah.
called The Fourth Industrial Revolution, right? And you can see now that playing out.
Oh yeah.
You can see it playing out.
Mm.
Because he says or makes note of that governments will become redundant and become so far removed
from the
from people,
That's right. Yeah.
so far removed, they'll become
Yeah.
completely,
Yeah.
just redundant,
That's right,
just not fit for purpose.
Mm.
Whereas organizations,
Mm.
large conglomerates, will have their finger on the pulse, be able to move and change quickly. And once AI comes in and other matters, they will become like the new governments by proxy.
Yeah.
So, and the governments will just be like like a mascot.
Mm. Mm.
So it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Although he didn't say that directly in it, but
yeah,
you can
yeah.
read from what he's saying, what will probably happen. You can see that probably playing out now.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got all sorts. I mean, you've got sort of scandal after scandal. I mean, like with Keir Starmer at the minute, there's potential scandal here, potential allegedly this, allegedly that, allegedly this. There should be no allegedly, isn't it? There should be no allegedlys. Yeah. So it's happening.
Mm.
It's happening. But yeah. So we have about immigration.
Yeah.
Right. What stats have we got there?
So we're talking about kind of more about the reform and what they're doing.
Immigration.
Yeah.
What's the stats on that? When well, in actual fact, what I say from here, let's go on there for we're talking about immigration and border control, right? We talked about that, and they want to get out the ECHR so they can do what they need to implement. But if we go on to, I think the point you want to make is about reform's growth and how they did in the last by-elections.
Yeah.
Let's hit that really quickly.
Okay. So basically, the votes for the recent council seats, which were just literally probably about a month ago, if that, around the UK, 1,650 council seats across 23 local authorities.
Yeah.
Reform won 677 seats out of 1,600, which is probably about a third into their seats. So seizing control.
So available seats.
Yes.
And they won. So they run quite a huge
35% increase. That was
increase in what they had.
That's what they had, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Seizing control of about 8 authorities from Conservatives, particularly.
Yeah. You see.
So
yeah. That goes to show, and it's all because those areas that they won. Give us an example of a couple of areas. Just a couple of areas.
A couple of areas. Okay. So for example, we're talking about Nottingham, poorly performed council. I'm looking at kind of specific things. Taken over by Reform, originally Conservative run. Financial difficulties. Okay.
Yeah.
in relation to inability to manage budgets and relating to mounting debt, high levels of deprivation. I think it ranks at about 11th out of 317 districts, which is very, very high, very high. Obviously, we're talking about housing, health, education, income, and crime. So those kind of looking at those particular areas,
Poor performer.
very
So
positive.
Nottingham as a council is poor
Definitely
performer.
reform. Yeah.
Right.
And actually, the funny
So reform won there.
they're one there. That's right.
We'll put two and two together.
But that's right. And also,
What about
yeah,
immigration?
so also they had significant immigration asylum hotels there. 1,500 asylums seekers there in that area.
Yeah.
So again, issues there.
Yeah.
Another one, Thurrock Council, held by reform. Issues in terms of mismanagement of money. I think in terms of some investments. Area 10% most deprived in UK. Fuel poverty in this area, which affected 13.4%, affecting
Wow.
9,000 households. Yeah, which is marginally higher than the average in the UK.
Wow.
So we're talking about people that are having to heat their homes, and as a result of that, think about that. It has an impact in terms of your health.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously you've got your financial issues there too. So all that having a knock-on effect. Again, significant issues in terms of asylum. I think across the Essex councils, 2,500 asylum seekers there, and obviously about six hotels. But issues in terms of neighbourhood issues, in terms of concerns of people coming into the neighbourhood, as to speak, and
yeah. So what the picture is, what's being you're showing us really is this. The picture you're showing us is that there is this common theme that where they've won is poor performing, high deprivation, real issues. I know there are issues everywhere, but there's more so than the average in the place of taking over.
Yeah, definitely.
And people want something to blame.
Of course.
They want a change.
Yeah.
And so they go for reform, irrespective of their policies, because they're saying, blame those people, those immigrants, those 1,500 people in that county, blame them. They're the reason why your county is performing badly.
That's right.
You see? Right. And so they're quite happy. So they vote that rather than say, hold on, the council should be doing better.
That's right. And I think, I think that people in those areas are clearly going through extreme challenges in terms of their life. And I think
we've covered that. So that's the thing. But the point is that they turn to reform because the council is performing badly. Of course. And then they see the immigrants there.
Yeah.
The refugees there, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they blame them. Yeah. They're the reason why it's all going bad.
Yeah.
And the problem is with this is that people are coming in. Yes, there is a problem. People coming in the boats constantly. And let's talk about that. Because just recently, just in these days, Keir Starmer wants to now obviously take on reform, as we said, becoming reform 1.0 or 2.0, whatever, right? So in the Labour Party's infinite wisdom, they gathered, come on lads, we're off. Where are we going, sir? We're all going to Albania. So they gather their bags, fly off to Albania, speak to Albania, didn't even do their homework and check. Just fly off there, went to speak to you, shake hands, yes. Now, what we want is hubs where we can send migrants who failed application and we can finish the processing in your country and then send back to where to be. And obviously we'll give you money, or we'll give you money on that. So the situation is this. The Albanian Prime Minister turned and said, you what? No, you're not putting any hubs here. Now, let's look at this. Remember, Albanians used to slip in here.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And they were just returned back to Albania.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah? And dealt with quite harshly. So you think you can go back to the Albanian Prime Minister and say, yeah, we're your brethren, we're friends.
He's not done his homework.
He hasn't done his homework. and so that blew up. Then apparently he wants to go to Italy.
Okay.
To do that. But hold on. What country is next door to Italy. Is it not Albania? It's a country that's next to Italy, borders Italy. There we go. Or near Italy. So there you go. That didn't work out too well, did it? And if you want to go to Italy, what do you think Italy will say? Listen, Italy has its own issues.
Yeah.
And he wants to go there and chuck. These people are just beyond. I don't know. There's something wrong. There's something not clicking in the mind. These people are supposed to be smart and intelligent. These people are supposed to be smart.
You know, listen, they say common sense isn't common practice.
That's right.
Yeah.
Listen, these people are supposed to be intelligent. They're supposed to be beyond common sense. But trust me, there's nothing going on there that shows me they even know what they're doing. I don't think they could even tie their shoelace up. That's how bad I think the situation is. It is so, so bad.
You know, I kind of want to talk about the dispersal policy in UK.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's go with that.
So basically, in year 2000, Tony Blair, Labour, Prime Minister, brought in the dispersal policy. Now, essentially, the whole idea of the dispersal policy was this, is that they didn't want to concentrate asylum seekers coming into the country in one part of the country, i.e. east, southeast of England and London. Right? They wanted to spread it out so they could spread out the resources, which kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense, okay? Yeah. Anyway, we know as a result, even like last year, obviously we had the massive civil disruption and protest, that a lot of the towns and cities up in the north of England were protesting about these asylum hotels. And I think what's happened as a result of that is that the government have had to kind of do a U-turn and look at disbanding those asylum hotels, which is happening kind of, I think it's kind of still in its kind of happening now around the country. Now, the joke of it is this, is that clearly they have to put these asylum seekers somewhere. So what do? They then move them, put them back where they were going to move them before, to southeast England, East England, and London.
So that's where they were to begin with. And then they dispersed them out the country, and now people complain and put them back in. See, the reality is, look, there's obviously something going on that we don't know about, the general public don't know about, is why it's so difficult. We know there are laws and legalities as what you can do, but there is something going on, something else that's happening that's stopping them from doing it, which we don't know about. That's why they're tripping over their feet and don't know what to do.
You know, but I was thinking to myself, okay, so obviously we know that, okay, say London is quite cosmopolitan. So you think to yourself, perhaps you could hide some asylum seekers there somewhere without it being too much of an issue. But I think like London's quite dense, right? And I think that if you get 300 asylum seekers in the area, that becomes a magnified problem. And you imagine the resources that are already stretched in those boroughs.
Yeah. Every London borough is struggling. All the councils are struggling up and down the country. Everyone's struggling. And, you know, we all know why. Historically, we don't need to go into that.
Yeah.
But there needs to be a radical change. And I think we're going to move from there. And there needs to be a radical change. And I think for me, I don't think you can work with the current system and affect change with the current system. I think the whole system needs to be
revamped.
The political system to be changed. The taxation system needs to be changed. And you know, I'm not an expert in all this. I know what could be or whatever needs to be changed. I don't think you can just keep on taxing the crap out of people and expecting change. We're going to increase taxes. I think you have to look at it differently. I think you have to look at, you know, countries that are doing really well now. Look at, for example, the UAE. They're doing well. They have 0 taxes. Why? What's going on there? Look at what's Monaco doing. Why is it happening there? You know,
Yeah,
why is
yeah,
things
yeah,
happening there?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I'm just talking as a lay
yeah, yeah,
person.
yeah.
You can probably tell me 1,000 reasons why that can't
Yeah, it's
happen.
happened.
But my point is, there are countries where it seems to be working better
It's
with different
innovation.
tax
Yeah,
situation,
yeah, yeah.
right? But you know, I think there's some issues there. I think the contention is
Mm.
um, Labour is threatened by reform
Oh,
hugely,
listen,
all
yeah.
right, with an anti-establishment vote because they're getting it wrong,
Mm.
right? Reform is decimating Conservatives because they're splitting
Oh,
their vote. They're split them
yeah, yeah,
completely.
yeah.
And more people are defecting or not having confidence over
Mm.
there. So Conservatives are out the window.
Mm.
So you see, right now, if there were a election now, it would be a landslide
Oh, yeah,
victory,
oh, definitely, definitely,
landslide.
definitely.
And I think for the future, the way in which Labour are going, I think it's over for them.
Mm.
But my point is, it's not going to be all milk and honey and sugar sweet for the people who will vote reform in
Form,
for the
yes, this,
future.
yeah, yeah.
It's going to lead to a further huge
Huge.
decline
Yeah, it's,
in the UK.
it
And I'm
is.
sorry, I just don't see it getting any better
Mm.
because the system that
This,
exists
yeah.
is flawed. It's
Mm.
not fit for purpose. Just not fit for purpose anymore. I think it needs radical change. I think you need people in there that are just get out of this old system
System.
because when people come in, they come with new ideas and they just get
Yeah, yeah.
trampled
Yeah.
and they have to work with what they've got. I think it needs some very brave people to come in and say, no, this is rubbish. Just get rid of this system and install a better system that
I don't know
works.
if they're brave enough to do that.
No one's going to be brave enough because this is going on for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
You can't just walk in there,
Yeah.
2 people, 3 people going, want to change it. You get smashed, you get broken, you know. So that won't happen. So I think you're going to see things decline. I don't think things will get any better at all. I think Labour's red wall is declining, it's crumbling. You know, in all the places that they had strongholds, that's
Oh,
declining.
yeah, definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's declining
Yeah.
and running. So, um, welfare cuts, this happening, that
But
happening, it's
what
leading, all pushing people towards reform.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, the madness thing is that looking back, and I was thinking about kind of looking at how when you look at the decline of Britain, and you think about kind of the current situation into the struggling poverty,
Yes.
crumbling standards, you think to yourself, well, how have migrants played a central role in that? And how have they played a central role? Because that's the message that you're getting from reform.
Well, I know, but they will play into that because how
Yeah.
people feel.
Yes. Yes. It's an emotional vote, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
complete emotional,
Yeah.
complete
Yeah.
emotional.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a government that's useless and destroys
That's
the
right.
economy, destroys everything, then rather than saying the government
Government.
did that, they're useless,
That's
we
right.
need to change that government or whatever
Yeah.
it is, or look at how they work.
Yeah.
Oh no, and let's blame those 4,000, 20,000 people there. Their reason why, whatever it is. And it's poor policy because if you
That's right.
have migrants coming into a country, people coming into a country, if you stack them all in one
Good
place,
place.
in a place that's deprived,
Deprived already.
no
I
regeneration,
know.
nothing in there, you're going to create animosity and discontent by the people that are already living
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
Because if they can't get GP's
That's it. Appointment.
appointment for 4 or 5
Yeah.
weeks because the GPs are overwhelmed,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So there needed to be a better plan.
Yeah.
I'm not a town planner. I'm not a planner on those things, but you can see there needs to be a better plan. We'll say, well, okay, this is a situation where you say, well, okay, we've got all these people coming in. This is what we're going to do. Either build some housing for them in this area, or do this or do that, or whatever it is.
Proper infrastructure, isn't it? Really, yeah.
And create a better system. Because if you got, I do agree with this, that if you have people coming into a country that are non-English speaking, and you don't provide any provisions to help them speak English, that's going to be a problem because their productivity is going to be limited.
Yeah.
And I don't think these people come in just want to sit there.
No.
Most want to come into work.
They're very motivated
and want to motivate to work.
Yeah.
So if you can utilize that, so okay, look, here's a place. I think it probably would have been better, whether right or wrong, if people came in the boats and you couldn't get rid of them to put them anywhere, it would have been better to put them in a holding place.
Mm.
Build somewhere you put them. And in that place, you educate them
Mm.
in English. They learn how to speak
Yeah,
English.
yeah.
You see what skills they have,
Have, and then kind of
right? You process their application
Mm.
in there. Check out where they've come.
Mm.
Do health checks.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them come in with diseases.
Mm.
And there's no screening
Screening
as far
for
as we
good,
understand.
okay.
Or very little screening, or
Mm.
not enough.
Mm.
So if they go through these checks, whatever it is, then you can say, well, okay, there are some roles and some things that we need.
Yeah.
Put them to work.
Yeah.
Let them work. Let them get some
Yeah.
cash or some benefit.
That's right.
Process application. If it doesn't go through, you say, well, okay, see you later, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. That could be something that could work or not work, whatever.
Mm.
But whatever needs to be done, it needs to be different from what we're
Yeah,
currently
country.
experiencing. Yeah?
Yeah.
And what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's a bone of contention right now.
Mm.
And I don't think anybody knows what to do about it. Reform says they've got the
magic.
the magic wand, whatever it is, and God knows what they'll do. Only God knows what they'll do. They've not really said what they'll do about it.
Yeah, but you kind of get a sense that actually that what they will put in place is more division, and moving away from that place. And I think cohesiveness in terms of the community. So I think, I don't think whatever they haven't got. Personally, I don't think they've got the actual remedy to address what needs to be addressed. Personally,
Exactly. I mean, so just finishing up, just going to sum up now, really, because it's really there. I just think that Labour have messed up really badly, and I think it's gone past the point of no return now. I don't think there's anything they can do, in my opinion, to come back from where they are, because there's been so many betrayals.
Yeah.
So many mess ups. He's messed up his personal life, and that's come out into the fore with all these allegations coming up, and potential allegations. Whether people choose to believe or not, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
It's not looking good, because the situation is he's a married man with children, and his allegations of affairs with whatever it complicates it, because if he's supposed to be a straight man, all right, and there are allegations of having a gay relationship, one is a betrayal of his wife in that sense, and then two, he's not being straight and saying, this is what I am.
This is who I am.
Yeah. There's that. And three, he's tried to cover it up. Yeah. And then now with this other young man that has burnt two of his rental properties.
Wow.
Burnt front of the house and rental properties and his car, and done criminal damage to his car. Why would a young man, 21 years old,
Whoa, okay,
do that? Why would he do that? Why would he pinpoint Keir Starmer to do that? So obviously there's some sort of, it's going to sum up.
Yeah.
It's not opening up.
Okay.
Why would he do that? So obviously there's something going on. So he's tarnished his
reputation.
His reputation to some extent,
Yeah.
even though he innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
But it's not looking good.
No.
He's making poor decisions, going to Albania, people saying, no, you can't do that, cutting winter fuel allowances, doing this, doing that.
Yeah.
Everything he's done is not really working. Changing immigration now that you have to be here 10 years. Wow.
I know.
Destroying families in that process, because some people were on their 5th year and they were due to finish their 5th year like to January or February next year, where they can apply. Now they've got to wait a further 5 years.
Wow.
So that's going to cost more money, more heartache, more pressure. So he is just alienating the Labour Party even more so. And I think that, this is the situation. In summary, it's an open door at the moment for reform. It's an open door.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
it's an open door,
and you kind of feels like everything he's doing, it just exacerbates.
Yeah,
and just needs to reform. Like great,
and I don't think, and personally, I don't think it's a great thing at all.
No,
at all. I'm not in support of that. In no way. And I think there are some people of color who are in support of it, and I don't really understand why they're in support of it, because it's like I'm in support. They're like, it's like saying I'm in support of getting punched in the face. You know, I vote for that because Reform are not pro black people of color. They're not pro that. They're anti you. So how can you be pro them? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, cut long story short, that is the situation. And I think if they do get into power, it will be a bit of a catastrophe. But we are where we are at the moment, and it's not looking bright, not looking rosy.
It's not.
You know, we're in a situation where doctors are unemployed, newly qualified doctors are unemployed. It's a mess. Like me opening up another debate, it's just a mess. And it's not looking good. But I think we need to revisit this again in a few months' time
Yeah, I think so.
and
Actually,
see
I
where
think so.
things are going.
Yeah.
But there's some other things that are happening right now, which will, I think, be very interesting. I think we need to talk about, revisit some other elements in relation to the AI story and the rise of power in China and so on. So that'll be a thing to talk about next time, I think, look into that. But we're going to end it there. And thanks so much for tuning in. You may agree with some of what we're saying, not agree with it, but it's just points of view. We're not experts in any of these arenas. We're just talking about what we think, what ordinary people will be seeing. We're just saying what we see, and we just hope that you will have a commentary on it. Anyway, thanks very much for listening
Thank you.
and tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.